Hello everyone. In this tutorial, I want to show you how to change the time, like squeeze or stretch the time along your timeline and the time bar, and also from the graph editor. Um, so what do I mean by stretching the time? I mean okay, so if you look at here, when I select these controls, you can see that these two keys are for the ball that is kind of moving from this position, rotating a little bit forward, for example. Let's say that I think like this is too long. I want to make it shorter. How should I do that? First things, the most important thing actually is that if you want to move the keyframes across your timeline, make sure that you grab all the controls that have a keyframe on them. For example, if I select this control, these are the keys for that control. If I select this one, these are the keys for that control, okay? So when I want to change the timing for everything, I'm making sure that I grab all the controls that have keyframe on them. If I select this control, I can see that, a bunch of red and pink stuff, which means that, oh, I have keyframes on me. Selecting this one has keyframe on it too. It doesn't matter that it's not here. I'm just going to select both of them because when you change the whole thing in the timeline, that might affect these keys as well, okay? I select this one. This doesn't have any keyframes on it, so I'm good to go, okay? So make sure when you, for example, let's say, yeah, show SS transformation, yep, and you keyframe this. Make sure that you keep it on, so it always shows that, so you know which that you need to select that control when you want to change your whole animation. This is true for the case of squash and stretch transformation, and also the floor transformation, which is this one, or some other transformation that you can, like this one, show floor contact expand transformation. If you use this one for keyframing, have it always be turned on, so when you change the timing for your animation, you know that you need to select this control as well, okay? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to select this control, then shift select the other control so I can see all the keyframes in the timeline. And I want to change the timing for this part of the animation. So I'm going to hold down shift, select, and drag my left mouse key button, okay? May notice a little bit of glitch for this one. Let's see if it does it now. Well, yes, it does it now. So you can see that when I try to stretch the time, it doesn't work. So to my experience, I found out if I move it first, it's gonna do the stretching afterwards, which is really annoying. Okay, so now I moved it. Oh, I shouldn't hit Control Z. Okay, move it one frame, move it back. Now, if you do the stretch, it does that. Isn't it funny? Yeah, it's really annoying. So you can do this to change the time for this between these two frames and everything that happens between that. So before you release, click away, make sure that you do this. Right click, snap. And you see that as soon as I did that, this keyframe that was here jumped to 61, and you want to make sure that you do that, because if you don't, you get a keyframe on frame 60 point something, which is not something you want, right? When you stretch the time or squeeze the time, you want the keyframes to snap at the exact amount of the time, like 60 and 61. You don't want any keyframes on 60 point something. I think by default you can have this snap thing turned on. I'm not sure where it is, but let's just do this one for now. So now you can see that this action happens in a longer time, right? I'm gonna Control Z, do that thing again. So you holding down Shift, you click and drag. So this is your area. You can grab this one in the middle to move it in the time, and then you can use these yellow handles on the both sides to stretch it or squeeze it in time. This time I'm going to squeeze it in. So I'm just going to grab this handle and then just do this, and then it doesn't do it. I don't know why it does that. Moving it first, move it back, stretch it, squeeze it, now it does that. I don't know what the deal is here. So you can see now what I mean. I have one keyframe. When I stretched it out, it keeps this one in place because I dragged up until here, and I'm stretching and squeezing this side of the selection, so it doesn't change this one. This one is stacked at 48, but this is at between 52 and 53, which is not good. So before I click away, so the selection is gone and the keyframe is moved to this location, I'm going to right click and say snap. So now it is snapped to 53. I hope this is something that is not confusing. The other thing I wanted to show you is you can have more control over how the timing changes in the graph editor. I might have shown it in the previous one. But you can see here, this one is snapping to time. As you can see, time snap, which is on, which is a good thing. So, you know, if you drag select this key, holding down shift, and you move to the left and right, you can see that it kind of snaps to the, you know, keyframes. In the time, you don't see snapping to 53 point something, which is a good thing. So you can do it from here too. I rather do it here because I have more control over where I want to put different things instead of just squeezing and stretching the time all over the place. So you can use these two methods to change the timing of you know, different parts of your animation. And just make sure the most important thing is to grab all the and select all the controls that have keyframe on, right? Okay, thank you for watching. See you in the next tutorial.